Welcome back, everyone. In today's explainer, we're tackling a grammar challenge that literally trips up almost every English learner at some point. Our goal today? Demystifying three incredibly common but surprisingly confusing prepositions about distance. Have you ever second-guessed yourself when trying to describe something far away? Kind of hesitated between using from, at, or in? Well, you're in the perfect place. We're going to lock these rules in today using some clear visualizations so you never forget them. Okay, let's dive into this. Picture this scenario. You're sitting comfortably inside your living room, just relaxing. Suddenly, you hear the wailing sound of an ambulance far away. You can't see it, but you definitely hear it. How do you actually describe that in English? Which of our three phrases hits the nail on the head? Well, hold on to your guess, because the answer reveals a massive amount about how the underlying logic of English actually works. All right, Section 1, the mystery of English distance phrases. Look, anyone who has learned English knows the absolute headache of memorizing prepositions, right? Rote learning just doesn't cut it here. You can stare at a textbook all day long, but unless you can visualize what these phrases are actually doing in physical space, they're always going to feel like a mystery. But here is the foundational secret to the whole puzzle. It's understanding the difference between a and the. A distance treats space as an abstract concept. It's just a vague, arbitrary amount of space. You're not really sure exactly where it is. On the flip side, when we say the distance, we're talking about a specific, tangible, real place far away, usually out there on the horizon. Keeping this core difference in mind is going to make everything else just click.
Section 2, Perspective and Experience. From a distance.
For this first phrase, I want you to mentally visualize looking through a pair of binoculars. From a distance focuses entirely on your personal perspective. Take this everyday example. I'd prefer to watch fireworks from a distance. Think about going to a massive sporting event, like a professional baseball game. Sometimes if you get those premium tickets right up close behind home plate, you actually miss how huge and impressive the whole stadium is. Sitting further back just gives you a better view of the whole shebang. Watching fireworks from a distance is exactly like that. It's all about your personal viewpoint and your experience. Maybe you want to see how big the fireworks get in the sky, or, maybe they're just way too loud up close.
Let's look at another super common daily scenario. From a distance, the house looked abandoned. Again, this phrase is completely anchored to your perspective. It's about how that house appeared to you, the observer, right in that moment. It doesn't actually matter if people live there once you walk right up to the front door. What matters is your specific point of view at that time. You're basically using this short phrase to naturally frame your personal observation. Let's move to the next concept and see how this builds. As we transition from using the word from to using the word at, I want you to notice a subtle but absolutely crucial shift happening here. We're moving completely away from your personal viewpoint, and instead, we're shifting our focus to the actual separation, or the boundary, between two objects. Section 3, Boundaries, at a distance.
And this brilliantly illustrates the point. To master this one, ask yourself to visualize a big, thick, physical fence. The zoo animals were kept at a distance. This phrase perfectly describes a literal, physical boundary keeping things apart. The zoo animals are on one side, you and the other human visitors are on the other, and there is a definite, actively maintained space between you. It's all about enforcing that barrier. But remember, boundaries aren't always made of concrete or metal, right? Look at this phrase, she keeps people at a distance. This works exactly the same way, but we're talking about emotional boundaries. Just like that zoo enclosure keeps animals and people safely apart, someone might hesitate to get too close to others, maintaining an emotional separation. Or say you don't want to get involved in a crazy crowded mosh pit at a music festival. You might say, I'd rather keep the chaos at a distance. You are actively enforcing a boundary.
Moving on to Section 4, a specific place. In the distance.
Notice how the word the has returned. I want you to imagine pointing your finger at a specific spot far away on the horizon. We aren't talking about abstract boundaries or personal viewpoints anymore. We're pointing to an actual physical location up ahead. Think about those classic movie scenes where exhausted hikers are walking through the desert. They look up ahead and they swear they see a lake of water. Or imagine cyclists riding along a coastline, spotting a huge mountain range miles up ahead. They're looking at a real specific area. That tangible location, that is the distance.
Which finally brings us right back to our opening question. I can hear sirens wailing in the distance. Even if you're sitting inside your house and you can't physically see the ambulance, or maybe you hear a cheering crowd from a music festival on another stage, but you can't actually see the fans, in the distance is the absolutely correct phrase. Why? Because that sound is originating from a real, specific location out there in the real world, even if it happens to be out of your line of sight.
Section 5. Caution. Unusable expressions.
Now, when you're absorbing these rules, it is really easy to accidentally mix the prepositions up, so I need to firmly rule out these incorrect combinations right now. From the distance and in a distance. You just cannot use them in English. English phrases are often strict chunks. Think of them like puzzle pieces that only fit together one specific way. Actually, there's a famous 80s song called From a Distance. Use mental tricks like that to keep the chunks locked together in your mind exactly as they are. Whatever you do, don't mix and match them. Section 6. Usage in daily conversation.
So the crucial point is right here. Let's pull everything together into an ultimate cheat sheet so you can confidently deploy these phrases in your daily life. Think of from a distance as your binoculars. It's your perspective. I only saw her from a distance. Think of at a distance as your fence, a boundary keeping things separated. I'd rather keep the chaos at a distance. And finally, think of in the distance as the horizon, a real place you can actually point your finger at. Did you see that bird in the distance? This right here is your mental roadmap.
I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative thought to apply what we've learned today. When you look in the distance at your language goals, what emotional boundaries are you finally ready to stop keeping at a distance? Take these concepts, visualize the binoculars, the fence, and the horizon, and go confidently use them in your next conversation. Keep pushing forward, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.
Got it! What's up? Catch up! Aha!